Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dungeon Dive. Daniel here, and good morning. I hope everybody is doing well. It is morning here, and it is the morning of my first day of vacation, so I am especially stoked today. The next 10 days I have free to stay in my house and do whatever the hell I want to do. And that is probably going to be lots of game playing, both of the analog variety and the digital variety. I've gotten really back into Skyrim on the Xbox and messing around with a lot of mods. A lot of the mods that are available on the Xbox are pretty good. They have some like full content mods and stuff. So I have gotten super back into Skyrim, and you know that game is just it's kind of like an evergreen game for me. Even though I have a lot of issues with it, I still having just a ton of fun and cheating and being super powerful, and just I approach that game kind of like I am a adventurer at a adventurer's amusement park. So that's kind of how I play Skyrim. But we are back here with our third part of Advanced HeroQuest, and I did confirm that over here in combat, when a ranged attack does a critical miss or a fumble, that if there are any friendlies next to your target, which we had our Skaven there, they do in fact take one hit, or one of them does. So we need to roll that, and let's see here. On an even, we'll give the dwarf takes an arrow to the you-know-where, and it is an even. So the dwarf is going to take one hit. Yeah, let's see, where's our dwarf? Sven Hammerhelm now is down one hit. All right, so I'm thinking I might truncate this playthrough a little bit, just because there are some things I want to get onto the table, and I am no longer able to have two games set up at the same time because my wife, of course, I think I've mentioned this, has commandeered the kitchen table as her office space while we are working from home. So what I'm thinking about doing is we're going to go through this scenario like normal, or this session like normal, and then I think on our next session we will just pretend that the next room we find is the final quest room, where we need to retrieve the magical lantern and put an end to this clan Scryer Warp Weaver dude who has stolen the lantern from the village. Just because there are a few things I want to get to the table during the next few days, and one new game, brand new game, and a couple others. So we'll see how it goes. But anyways, we need to regroup around our dwarf, who is there, to go back into our exploration phase. So we have no tokens out. Our dungeon token bag is now fully refreshed with everything. And we are at the top of a hero phase. Now we want to go back and we want to see what this magical circle has in store for us. So we're going to go ahead and move 12. We're going to go there. That door is already open because we have explored that room. So let's actually, how many spaces can we move? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we can go ahead and send our wizard in to check the magical circle. So he's going to stand on top of that. And now let's see what happens with a magical circle. So a large circle representing the great wheel of magic is drawn on the floor. The GM may place it anywhere in the room. We have placed it in the center of the room. If a hero or henchman moves on to the circle, roll a dice. And that was a 3. 3. Nothing happens. As is usual for this dungeon, the nothing happens dungeon. But okay, so that was the end of that hero phase. So for the GM phase, we will draw our token. And we've got a trap. All right. Now we're going to roll our GM die. -1 is 9. No +1, so nothing. All right, so really the only way we can go now is up there. So I'm going to move 12. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Can't quite reach the end there. So we are now at the GM phase. And another trap. All right, excellent. Maybe I should give these a better shuffle. So now we're going to be subtracting 2. And we have a trap. So let's figure out who has sprung the trap. We'll roll here, and what do we get? Whoa, whoa. Aggressive rolling. All right, 7 there. So the elf spots the trap, or the elf triggers the trap. So let's turn to our trap book here, and let's see what the elf is going to discover. Okay, so there is our trap table. We are in a passage. So let's see what kind of trap we find. The elf finds 2, and it is a crossfire trap. Okay, the spot chance of an 8 up. So if we get an 8 or higher, we have a chance to disarm it. A 10. All right, so we see the crossfire trap. The elf reacts with his lightning-like speed to disarm it on a 6 up. And he does. Oh my God, we have gotten so lucky with the with the traps here. Let's see what would have happened. The hero who set off the trap is hit by a number of crossbow bolts. Roll a dice and divide the result by 4, rounding up, to discover how many hit the hero, and roll 3 damage dice for each bolt that does. Once triggered, the trap has no further effect. All right, so the elf spotted the trap, disarmed it before it could do any damage, and once again, this party has gotten so lucky. So we've used our 2 trap tokens. So we will shuffle everything back into the box there. We're back to a full cup of dungeon counters. It is now the hero's phase. All they can do is move 1. And we will need to generate our passage here. All right, let's see here. We're going to roll 1, and that is a 9. So we have 2 sections. Now, I am kind of running out of room on my table. Slide this down a bit. I think I can fit 2 sections as long as we're just going to play that. Well, we can't actually have a dead end. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and place a, just for my table and for the sake of the video, I'm going to place a T-junction at the end here. So we got to slide this down a little more. That is one issue with this game, playing on a small table. If you were playing this, if I was playing this on my dining room table, I could have a much larger map that I wouldn't have to cheat in its layout. Okay, so there's that. Now let's see what is in that passage. We're rolling our 2d12 there, and we have a 12. So passage features nothing. All right, so let's see in the end, we're going to put a T-junction there just to keep things nice. And now we are at the top of the GM phase. And we have another trap. So we will be subtracting 1 from this roll. 3 minus 1 is 2. Okay, so nothing. I think I might move and search for a secret door, but I just forgot. Can I search for a secret door and move? I always forget. I don't think you can. I think you have to move and then search for a secret door. So let's see what it says. The secret doors can only be searched for in dead ends or rooms which have no doors. A hero may search 1 room. So we can search passages once we find a total dead end dungeon. So I'm not going to be finding any secret doors here. So I think we just need to move and see what else lies in store for us. So I'm just going to go ahead and move 12, move to that junction. I'm going to see what lies over here first. And an 11, 2 sections. Alrighty. Let's see what is in this section here. And 22 wandering monsters. Okay, so we need to set up our wandering monsters. I am going to finish off this section here. So let's see what's at the end. Actually, for the sake of the table, I'm going to put a right turn so that comes back down, because we really can't have anything going off in that direction. I'm also going to clear off the rest of the doors from the dungeon that we have explored, just so I have a little more room to maneuver the tripod around without knocking things over. So we have a right turn there. As we turned around the corner, we came across a group of wandering monsters. So let's see what we see here. Our Skaven matrices here. And let's see what we find on our wandering monster roll. So 1d12, a 12. 2 warriors and 2 champions. Okay, this should be good. 2 warriors and 2 champions. So our warriors here, we're going to have the old school Skaven, be our warriors. And I'm going to use 2 of these newer Skaven models here. These 2 fellows here will be the champions. And I think the warriors will be coming down the hall first with the champions behind like that. So we have our Skaven warriors and we have our Skaven champions. So let's take a look at their monster stats real quick. The warriors, pretty standard. They have a weapon skill of 6, a toughness of 7, 10 speed, 3 wounds. They're armed with leather armor, shields, and swords. And then we have our Skaven champions. They have they're just a little better. Weapon skill of 7, a toughness of 8, and 3 wounds. They're armed with chain armor, shield, and sword. So what we're going to do as far as placing the monsters is we're going to roll for initiative. The black die is going to be for the monsters, the blue for the heroes. The heroes get a +1 for the elf. And they get a 6, and the monsters get a 1. So the monsters did not surprise us. As a matter of fact, we rounded the corner and came and saw them while they were right here. So we will get our first turn. So we are now in a combat phase. So let's place our warriors out on the table. Maybe I will go ahead and use, just so we can see it in action, use my wizard's fireball. Maybe we could take out all 4 of those Skaven in one. I think that might be fun to do. So the flames of the, let's see, which one is it? I always forget. The flames of death here in the book. So the flames of death. The wizard casts a sizzling fireball at the enemy, which engulfs them in a white flame. Place a fireball template anywhere within 12 squares of the caster, within his line of sight. Treat this just as ranged attacks. Any models, friendly or enemy, which fall under the fireball template are automatically hit. Roll 5 damage dice to see what effect a hit has. So I could take all of these out with one massive fireball. Here is our fireball template. So rounding the corner, the dwarf sees the Skaven, yells, "Wizard, do your thing," and he does. Magnus Bright, whatever. Magnus the Bright So he's going to get 5 damage dice to see how many, if these guys take wounds. So toughness of 8 and a toughness of 7. So the first 4 here. Whoa. Well, I just lost a d12 behind the table. All right, so we have 3. All right, so all 3 of those hit all of the monsters. So those 3 hits to each of the monsters, killing all of them outright. Let's see what the other 2 would have done. And 1 hit and 1 miss. All right, so that fireball completely destroys this little group of of Skaven there. Using one of the wizard's spells. I know what I forgot to do way back here in this combat corridor. I forgot to roll to see if the elf was able to recover any of his arrows. And in the enhanced version, you can recover arrows, regular arrows that were used on a 4 or more. And we used 2 arrows. So let's see here. I recovered both. So that rule is definitely improved in the hero's favor in the enhanced version of this game. In the regular version, it was quite difficult to retrieve arrows. I think like on a 10 or more. But okay, so we have killed both of those guys. Now let's roll for our treasure here. Let's see here on the Skaven warrior. Let's do the warriors first. So each of the warriors was carrying 10 gold. So that's going to be 20 more gold. I need to add to our gold total, which I cannot find my initial post-it. It's somewhere used as a bookmark. So that's 20. And then the 2 Skaven champions were carrying 3. They were carrying 10 gold each as well. So 40 gold we have found on that encounter. So a little uneventful, I guess, for that combat. So now we are at the top of another hero phase. And for that, we are not going to move. We are just going to stay in place and see what lies over here. So roll on our passage table. And 11, that's going to be 2 passages. All right, there's that. And then like this other passage down here, I'm going to go ahead and say that there was just a turn back towards me there. And now let's see what is in this passage. 22 passage features, wandering monsters. All right, so we finished off these guys over here, and now a new group of wandering monsters has appeared in this corridor. Let's see what we see. 4. 1 champion. All right. So this guy's going to be down there. Once again, we're going to roll for initiative. And 12 to 11. So the heroes win the initiative, so the monsters did not surprise us. We will go ahead and put them there so the heroes can get to them. Let's bring these guys out. Grab our champion stats again. All right, so let's have the dwarf here. We'll go ahead and move 1, 2, 3, 4. He will move up and he will take a swipe at the monster with his warhammer. The Skaven champion has a weapon skill of 7, which means that I need to get a 6 or higher to hit. And there's a 3. That is a straight up miss. Our warrior will go ahead and move up with his speed of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He too will take a swipe with his sword, and he has to get a 6 or higher to hit, and that is a miss. All right, familiar territory here. I think our elf will go ahead and use one of his arrows. And he is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away, which means I need to get a 5 or more to hit with one of my arrows. There's a 4. This is excellent. And our wizard is not going to use a spell. He's just going to kind of stand back. And now our Skaven champion. Skaven champion, he's going to go ahead and he's going to attack the dwarf because the dwarf moved into his zone of death first. So our dwarf has a weapon skill of 8, which means that the Skaven champion needs to get an 8 or higher to hit. And that is a 6. So no dice. Now he could scurry away, but there's really no point in it. He's not a sentry. He's not going to be trying to open doors or calling in reinforcements. I do, however, forgot to draw our chip here. And it is a fate. So I drew a fate token. So the monster can use that fate token at the next opportunity to change the value of one of his dice. So he would have had that before his last attack because I forgot to draw it. So we would use that to turn his miss into a hit. That's what fate does. It doesn't allow for rerolls. It changes the outcome of a result. Fate is a very powerful resource in this game and one that I often forget to use. So he did end up hitting the fate. The winds of fate have blown in the favor of the Skaven. He missed the dwarf, but on his backhand, he swiped the dwarf and ended up hitting. And he's going to do 4 damage dice to our dwarf. Our dwarf has a toughness of 10. So there is 1 hit and 1 hit to our dwarf, which brings him down to 3 hit points. All right. So now we are back up to the top of a hero phase, and our dwarf is just going to go ahead and take a swipe at the Skaven. Again, he needs a 6 up, a miss. Our warrior needs a 6 up. There it is. There's a hit for our warrior. And the warrior does how much damage? 4 damage dice, a toughness of 8. There is 1 hit, a critical hit, so we get to roll again. Let's do our 4th dice. Okay, so nope, so now we'll take our critical hit. And yes, so that is going to be 3 hits on to the Skaven champion. That takes him down to 0 wounds, killing the Skaven champion. And let's see what kind of treasure he has. I believe that is just another 10 gold pieces. Skaven champion on a 5. That is 20 gold pieces, bringing our booty from this adventure or from this session up to 60. All right. This game is very weird. I have played games where I've had an almost total party kill on the first or second turn. And then playing this game where things are my heroes are surviving without much trouble at all. I've played games where you're finding doors left and right, and in this game it's a lot of empty hallways. So we're going to call it there for today. And then our next session, I have decided while playing this that we are going to truncate this adventure. The next room we find is going to be our final quest room. So we will find a truncated, abbreviated conclusion to our little Advanced Hero Quest mini series. So, all right, guys, well, thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this. And stay tuned for the conclusion to Advanced Hero Quest, as well as some new games that are going to be showing up on the channel soon. Take it easy, guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.